Meet Gilbert and Sidney. Gilbert's a poochon and Sidney's a toy poodle. They're my little fuzzy babies. I'm going to be doing a portrait of each of them in watercolour, and I'm going to use the professional Winsor and Newton set and Archie's rough paper for each of these. So I'm starting off with Sidney and I'm working in wet on wet for this background. I'll get nice soft edges and all the colours that I'm putting down will blend together really nicely for a very gentle, soft, smooth background. The paper, when it's wet like this, literally pulls that paint straight off my brush. And when that's dry, I use the same process to create a kind of ghostly outline of Sid's features. And then I start adding in some of the detail. I don't know what it is, but I really love painting dogs' collars, dogs and cats' collars, because, well, I suppose it's the only belonging that they own themselves, isn't it, really? And if you've ever taken a dog's collar off for a bath, and then once they've had their little spa treatment and they're all nice and dry again, you'll notice that they're quite happy to volunteer to have the collar returned to their little necks because it's theirs and it becomes part of them. So I think that a dog's collar is actually quite a symbolic feature of a portrait. In this portrait of Sid, I'm prioritising some areas where I want to add more detail, so the eyes, the nose and that all important collar, and the rest of it I'm keeping quite loose. There he is, that's my Sid. He thinks he's a little person, and I think that comes across in his portrait. So now to Gilbert, and I've approached this in exactly the same way, starting wet and wet, and created this ghostly image that I'll start building up with lots of detail. I'm actually planning on spending a bit more time on detail with Gilbert. He's quite a fluffy little guy and I want to be able to capture that if I can. Now, unlike Sid, who thinks he's a person, Gilbert is definitely a dog and he's a very good boy. He's got beautiful big eyes, a rubbery brown nose and big chimpy lips, and he's a really pretty little thing. And here I'll be really focusing on getting Gilbert's beautiful big brown eyes in lots of lovely details so that it really does give you that feeling that there's a real entity there. I want to capture something of the spirit of the animal in my portrait. Now, I'm quite happy to confess that actually I fell into that trap of trying to paint every curl. They warn you about that one, and I walked right into it on this painting. I think I, got reasonably close to what I had in mind, but it did not take a long time. But that's between you and me, okay? And so there's my little sincere, slightly neurotic Gilbert. I would encourage anyone, if you've got a pet at home, that's a great reason to make your own picture. And whether you draw it, whether you get the paints out, it doesn't matter. Just try and capture something of your beloved fuzzy family for the future. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video today and seen these two paintings. If you have, please give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll really look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye.